Hello, and welcome back to the Skull Cave. Isaac's Reviews. We have covered a comic, Jonah Hex, right? We've covered a pulp review, The Phantom, and here we are again with another review. This time, it's still pretty pulpy, it's still pretty good, but it's more of a short story. We've covered gunfighters, men of mystery, bounty hunters, and swashbuckling superheroes. Now it's time for a Puritan? Okay, don't leave just yet. Let me introduce you to one of the most blindingly awesome characters ever created. He's got it all. He's got it all. He has swashbuckling, duels to the death, a brace of flintlock pistols, globe-spanning adventures, and a staunch faith in God Almighty. No, it's not something from Sunday school. It's Solomon Kane. Created by the legendary author of Conan the Barbarian, Robert E. Howard, and given rave reviews by the likes of people like Fritz Leiber, Michael Moorcock, H.P. Lovecraft, Solomon Kane might be my favorite pulp hero of them all. The first date I found for this character was 1928. Skulls in the Stars is the name of the story. This is an This is an old character. He is an awesome character that I did not know existed until about a year ago. If you, like me, long for heroes with moral absolutes, action-packed tales where the good guy triumphs through skill, smarts, and dogged determination, then this is the hero for you. You are going to love this character, and I'll prove it to you. Today's review is Skulls in the Stars. If you were going to read this story, I suggest this version. This version right here, it has all the Solomon Kane stories. It has gorgeous illustrations done in black and white. It's there, right there. That's Solomon Kane, right? That's some of the illustrations done in black and white. It is gorgeous. I would highly recommend you get this version of the story. It's illustrated by Gary Gianni. Let's see. The story starts. We're going to flip to the first page here. Skulls in the Stars, right? Skulls in the Stars. Story starts with Solomon Kane wandering. That's most of what he does is wander. He is going to Torkertown. A small boy catches up with Solomon Kane at a crossroads and urges him to take the swamp road, not the moor road that the townspeople told him to take. Solomon Kane is wandering. The boy tells him that if he took the swamp road, he could rest for the night in old Ezra's house. Let's see. Yeah, see, there's another great picture of Solomon Kane, right? Ezra has the place to himself since his, quote, maniac cousin has wandered off and supposedly died in the swamp. I know it sounds like a great place to stay to me. But Kane is irritable, and he asks the boy why he can't take the moor road, as it's shorter by several miles. The boy explains to him that the moor road is haunted. Haunted by some shrieking, laughing fiend who murders any would-be travelers. So we're right on the tail end of Halloween here, so this is a perfect story for spooky season. All this does is make Solomon Kane very excited. He is an adventurer, after all. I love this quote. Let's see. It says, far back in Kane's gloomy eyes, a scintillant light had begun to glimmer. Like a witch's torch glinting under fathoms of cold, gray ice. His blood quickened. Adventure. Kane himself states that this must be some demon or devil, and, again, I quote, a strong man is needed to combat Satan and his might. Therefore I go, who have defied him many a time. Remember, this is a Puritan, and he feels that it is his duty to combat Satan at any given chance he's got. Kane goes on. He ignores the boy's warning and he goes on. He walks through the fen for hours when he hears a struggle, weird laughter and shrieking. Pretty soon a, quote, thing that had once been a man, a gore-covered, frightful thing, falls at Kane's feet and dies. Then Kane sees a shadowy, mist-like form, vague and indistinct, in the moonlight. Kane levels his pistol and fires, and the fight is on. He loses his sword, and soon he is grappling with a ghost. Quote, for man's only weapon is courage that flinches not from the gates of hell itself, and against such not even the legions of hell can stand. Unquote. As Kane struggles, the thing is gibbering and whispering, and Kane suddenly figures out what's going on. Soon, it cuts from the fight to Kane standing in front of Ezra's hut with a crowd. He tells his tale, and then he bids Ezra to come with him to the rotting oak on the moors. Because again, another great place to be, the rotting oak on the moors. And again, it's just great illustrations. We've got Solomon Kane here. Tiny little illustrations. Him standing black cloaked and shadowy, right? There's the rotting oak on the moor. Ezra shrieks when he finds out that Kane wants him to go to the rotting oak on the moors. He shrieks, he starts to run away, but a couple of the villagers grab hold of him. They drag him through the moors. Apparently, Ezra had been beating his cousin, Gideon. They look in the tree, and inside the tree is Gideon's skull, with a massive crack in it. The fiend in the swamp is Gideon's ghost. He was insane, and his ghost couldn't find his murderer. He couldn't tell the difference between his murderer, Ezra, and any other man that walked through the swamp. Therefore, he just killed whoever he found because he thought that was his murderer. That's why he's been murdering people in the swamp, and that's why the swamp road is so dangerous. Kane learned all of this during his fight with the ghost. Said he was gibbering and whispering to him, and that's what he was gibbering and whispering, was that Gideon, or rather Ezra, had killed Gideon, and now he was wandering in the swamps. Let's see, they tied Ezra to the tree, and Kane says, let him make his peace with Satan, whom he is more like to meet. Because the villager said, let him make his peace with God, and Kane's like, no, he doesn't know God. He's more likely to meet Satan. I love it. I love it so much. The villagers and Kane walk away, and they hear a shrieking laughter and a scream in the moors. And that's how the story ends. This is a fantastic story. Skulls in the Stars. I really enjoy this character. So, Robert E. Howard is probably most well known for a character named Conan the Barbarian, right? Famously played by Arnold Schwarzenegger. Great character, don't get me wrong. I actually have that book. I don't have it down here with me. But I have that book. I'm currently reading it. But this character, Solomon Kane, leaps off the page, demands your attention, And these tales are just chock full of action, adventure, and just the thing that really got my attention and really surprised me is a very religious character. I'm not used to religious characters in my fiction. There have been a few that I've read, but it's a rarity to find a religious Christian character in your fiction. And Kane encounters things that test his faith. There are a handful of stories where he is severely tested, and the story breaks for him to pray. There's a tale where he is beaten and savagely beaten and left. He's in Africa, and he's left to die, and he's saved by an African tribe. And during that time of recovery, he questions his faith again, but he always comes back to this faith in God and this driving need for adventure. And this is a great character. This is a great story. Again, it's spooky, right? You've got a ghost wandering through the moors. You've got Solomon Kane trekking through the moors at night, encountering and fighting a ghost. And then you find out that it's the murdered cousin of this crazy man named Ezra. It is fantastic. I thoroughly enjoy it. I would highly recommend you read this story. It's called The Skulls and the Stars. Pick it up in this collection right here. This has all the Solomon Kane stories. Highly recommend it. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I think you will too. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.